Dear Cupcake, I apologize for my reaction when you dropped by my lab unannounced. I know it seemed like I might be upset, or like you might have caught me working on something extremely confidential, and possibly less than strictly legal. But that is not the least bit true. You see, laws rarely keep up with technology. And it's not like the government can make something illegal if they don't know it exists. But you know what? That isn't the point. The point is, I wasn't upset. In fact, I'm always happy to see you. I only wish I'd had the nerve to speak to you about something I've been meaning to say for some time. But I didn't. So I thought I'd put this down in a letter so I can just do it. You know? So here I am, doing it. You see, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. About science, of course. That's what I do. But also about, well, about you. And me. And a complex chemical reaction that occurs in the human brain when two people... Oh, no. No, that's not what I meant to say. Okay, let me start over. Cupcake. We've known each other for quite some time now. It has been both a blessing and a curse. Like the time I accidentally created a truth serum and tested it on myself, and I couldn't stop blurting out embarrassing facts for weeks. Like how I once tried to create a compaction serum to shrink down and sneak into your pocket to be close to you all day. Oh. Some of that truth serum might still be in my system. Okay. Cupcake. I'm in love with you. Madly, deeply, irrationally in love. The kind of love that makes you want to rewrite the laws of physics just to be with someone. And believe me, I've tried. Do you remember last year, around this time, when you mentioned offhandedly that you wished you could fly? Well, I admit I took it rather literally. I spent 3 months developing an anti-gravity elixir. I thought if I could make it so that you could fly, you'd be so impressed that you'd fall head over heels for me. Unfortunately, the product had some side effects. After making things float, it made them incredibly heavy. I accidentally spilled some on my cat. Poor Schrodinger fell right through the floor. Don't worry, he's fine. He's just living in the basement now. I feed him through the hole that is now in the floorboards. Oh, and the time you said that you loved the scent of roses, I thought, I'll create and wear the most intoxicating and compelling rose perfume the world has ever known. So, I spliced rose DNA for the scent with that of the Venus flytrap for the attractant. The result was a fragrance so alluring that it quite literally attracted every insect within a 5-mile radius. I had to burn the entire garden to the ground to stop the swarm. Still find the occasional mutant bee buzzing around the lab. Well, those were just the beginnings of my mad schemes. Do you recall the Cupid's arrow incident? I had developed a pheromone-laced dart that was supposed to make the target fall in love with the first living thing they saw. I was going to, well, you can guess. I know this sounds reckless, my darling, but I assure you that I would never, ever test formulas on you. I always do a study to see how it affects our close DNA relatives in the animal kingdom, like rats, pigs, and politicians. But during testing for the pheromone dart, I mixed up the vials and accidentally loaded it with my experimental dinosaur DNA formula instead. That time when the mayor had his incident and he was craving raw meat and kept trying to establish dominance over the city council, that was my bad. On the bright side, paleontologists are thrilled. They've learned so much about T-Rex behavior. I suppose I should also come clean about your ex. The one who suddenly decided to move to Antarctica to study the penguin mating habits. Well, she didn't exactly decide to do that on her own. I may, emphasis on may, have slipped her a little something I like to call the polar passion potion. I thought if she was out of the picture, I'd have a clear path to your heart. I did not actually hurt her. I just raised her core temperature by a couple of degrees so that the colder climates were more appealing to her. And in my defense, she does seem very happy in her new career. Have you seen the documentary she made? It was fascinating stuff. Who knew penguins did that? No one had ever been able to just stand out in the cold for days on end like that before, until the penguins accepted her as one of their own. It was a blessing, really. Oh, and while we're on the subject of your past relationships, I feel I should confess about the instant karma concoction I invented. If you will recall, your college ex recently developed an allergy to her own lies that makes her nose grow and redden every time she tries to fib. Well, that was me. I think it's poetic justice for how she treated you. Although I will admit, I didn't expect it to work quite so well. Last I heard, she'd given up entirely on dating and speaking and joined a nunnery. Apparently, she's much happier now that she's taken a vow of silence. So, silver linings, yes? But my most ambitious project and my biggest failure was when I went back to the Cupid's arrow darts. I thought I'd perfected it. I worked on it day and night for months. I missed meals, forgot to sleep. At one point, I'm pretty sure I forgot how to blink. But finally, it was ready. I invited you over ostensibly to help me move some lab equipment. The real plan was to give you a little poke while you were distracted with the big things. Oh, that sounded spicier than I meant it. That's okay. Anyway, something went wrong because the universe just has a twisted sense of humor. When I gave you a prick of that Cupid's arrow dart, the first living thing you laid eyes on was my ficus plant. Do you remember that day? How you suddenly couldn't take your eyes off my admittedly rather remarkable houseplant. I make my own growth enhancer. But do you remember how you kept stroking its leaves and murmuring sweet nothings to it? You even tried to take it out to dinner and got us kicked out of your favorite restaurant. Oh, wait. No. Apologies. You would not have any memory of that. I had to chemically induce amnesia to undo the damage. Let me tell you, that was no easy feat. Do you have any idea how hard it is to selectively erase memories without accidentally wiping out a person's entire identity? It's a real tightrope rope, let me tell you. So, there you have it. My confession. I've turned the laws of nature inside out. I've created monsters, both literally and figuratively. I've probably violated more ethical guidelines than I can count. And for what? For the slim chance that you might look at me the way I look at you. For the hope that you might see past the lab coat and the safety goggles and the occasional explosion and see the woman beneath who is helplessly, ridiculously in love with you. I know what you must be thinking. Jamie's lost her mind. She's a menace to society. Someone call the authorities. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong. I have lost my mind in a way. I lost it to you. But here's the thing, Cupcake. All these harebrained schemes, all these ludicrous elixirs, they taught me something important. I realized that love isn't something you can force or fabricate. And it's not a chemical reaction you can trigger with the right formula. Love, real love, seems to be about honesty. About showing someone your true self, warts and all, and hoping that they'll accept you anyway. It looks like it's about trust and kindness and genuine connection. All things I have been too afraid to try because I can't control them. I don't have a hypothesis for how you will react. And it was too important to me to just wing it. So I tried playing mad scientist. But I'm done. So here I am, laying it all out for you. No concoctions, no darts, no mutant roses. Just me. Dreamy. Admittedly brilliant, but also deeply flawed. And head over heels in love with you. And I hope you can love me. I can't promise I'll stop being a mad scientist overnight. It's kind of my whole thing. But I can promise to channel my madness into less ethically questionable areas. No more chemical amnesia, or love potions, or accidental dinosaur transformations. From now on, I'll stick to things like solving the world's hunger through growing giant fruit, or curing the common cold. You know, normal, safe stuff like that. So, what do you say, Cupcake? Could you give me a chance? I promise I'll only try to steal your heart and not your DNA. Unless you're into that kind of thing. In which case, I have some very interesting research on genetic compatibility that I would love to show you. And I'm doing it again. Old habits die hard, I suppose. Okay, well, let me try one more time. Cupcake, I love you. No schemes, no... God help me. No science. Just me, loving you. Hoping you might someday love me too. So, what do you say? Would you like to grab a coffee sometime? I promise the only chemistry involved will be between us. And maybe a little caffeine. A lot of caffeine. I am a scientist after all. What do you say we conduct an experiment in romance? I hypothesize this could be the start of... Okay, that is so lame. Dear Cupcake, would you please come down to my office and help me move some furniture? Where is that dart gun? Hey, Cupcakes. Oh, that was another one I had so much fun writing and recording and making myself giggle over. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me today and all your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And welcome to my newest patrons, Jack Enfield and Haji Baba. And special thanks to my special patrons at those top tiers. There's Billy Harden, Luke Curator, Limonic Cultist, Dan, Confused But Still Here, Bowman, Alton Good Bottle, Disbanded Crow, Techo, Emphasinus, Mushan Gaming, Tomas Rogers, Your Skating Wolfie, Nosti Rogue Scholar, Barry Wilburn, Estede, Anon, SLE Photo, Harper Evolution, Justin Martin, Wolf 9004, Malicilo, Army Guy 007, Mr. Fabulous, Lou, Bunny, Tiny the Taxman, Meryl, Mr. Rickles, Onin, Darth Mythis, Red Death 48, Always Able, Vagar, Moon, Old Bean UK, Kula Bear, The Swaggy Llama, Cody, Artlow, Pierce Tailish, and Christian Kaleapa'a. I hope you will all be as good to yourselves as you are to me. I will talk to you tomorrow.